Hey, happy Friday. I'm Greg McQuaid. Welcome to Virginia this morning. Our first guest has enjoyed massive success as a professional skateboarder, film, and television star who rose to fame at a very young age. He skated under the mentorship of famed skateboarder, pretty much a legend, Tony Hawk. Well, he had it all and lost everything because of his heroin addiction. Now, with 3 years sobriety under his belt, he is giving back and helping others find their path to recovery. And he details his rise and fall in his memoir, Dream Seller. And we welcome Brandon Novak to Virginia this morning. Brandon, it's an absolute pleasure, my man.
How are you, Greg?
Really, welcome back, man.
Great, man.
It is,
Thank
you know,
you.
welcome back almost to the East Coast. This is almost like a homecoming, man. You grew up just up the road in Baltimore, man.
Yeah, right down the street, man.
Yeah.
This is the deal. But the reality is why I'm here is because, you know, they talk about this heroin epidemic. It's not an epidemic, it's a pandemic. Today in the nation, 174 people will die as a direct result of an opioid overdose. That's worse than Vietnam. And the sad thing is these deaths are all preventable. But the reality is the disease of addiction does not discriminate. From Yale or jail, the White House or the outhouse, the results are all the same, and 1 out of 5 people will be affected. My mother is a nuclear physicist on the board of Mercy Hospital. My brother's an attorney in the White House who practices pensions and benefits. My father died as a direct result. First skateboarder to be endorsed by Gatorade, traveling more with Tony Hawk, been in those movies Jackass, broke box office records, New York Times selling author. At the end of my run, I walked into my 13th inpatient treatment center at the age of 35. Worldly possessions consisted of 8 scarves, 2 jackets, 3 socks, 1 stick of deodorant, 4 cigarette butts that I pulled out of the ground. My mother bought me a plot. People were taking life insurance policies out of me. I just woke up from being on life support for 7 days.
My goodness.
You know?
Brandon, at 15, what was it like with all of that success coming at you at such a breakneck speed?
You know, I did things in life that people equate to success or happiness. And therefore, I wasn't the kind of guy that had to be in the house when the street lights went on or a 9-to-5 job with accountability. My team manager who lived in Santa Barbara, the accountability looked like me sending out video parts that I had filmed or saying I learned this new trick. And I was running with a lot of older guys at such a younger age. You know, it's so successful at such a young age, people kind of believed in what I was doing.
Well, Brandon, at what point, where did it go wrong? Was it gradual or was it basically like falling off a cliff?
It was really a gradual thing because I suffered from this job, and this job consisted of knowing everything. See, people like myself and addicts and alcoholics, we have a problem with conforming. We don't like authority. So when you tell us what we need to do, we tell you I need to F off because we know. And what I learned from my first treatment center at the age of 17 to my 13th at the age of 35, what I know is that I don't know. And my very best thinking had put me in that position. You know, that's what I had learned.
What compelled you to write this book?
Because now I work in the drug and alcohol treatment field. I work with a premier leading treatment center, Banyan Treatment Center. We have facilities in Chicago, Boston, Florida, and Pennsylvania. And what I learned is when people call me, they say, Novak, if you can get clean, there's no reason why I can't. Can you help me? There's some substance to my story. It's tangible. You can see my story on the books, and the internet, on movies, and the tabloids. A little different than a 50-year-old professor reading of a textbook, giving a bunch of theories or hypotheses. I was that guy that was supposed to die with a needle in his arm. My mother, at the end of my run, went to God with one simple prayer. That prayer consisted of, God, please cure him, or kill me because I can't take it anymore.
Those were her 3 wishes?
That's all. She had depleted several savings accounts. She had sold 4 homes to financially pay for me to go to treatment. She had nothing left to give.
Brandon, when did you see the light? When did you finally see clarity?
When I found myself in my 13th inpatient treatment center, a 35-year-old man, in theory and on paper, very successful individual, had did things in life that people equate to success or happiness that some even dream of doing. In reality, I was a 35-year-old man in the basement of the Catholic Charities Rehab as this 19-year-old tech who worked for the rehab, thumbed through these donations boxes looking for a pair of second, third, fourth-hand pair of underwear for me to wear because I didn't own any. And what happened was...
You didn't have a pair of underwear?
I didn't even own a pair of underwear. What I owned was the clothes on my back when I walked into that 13th inpatient treatment center. 4 cigarette butts that I dug out of a receptacle, a needle, a spoon, and a restraining order that my mother served me. That's all I owned.
Brandon, at what point does a person seek help? Does it come from within? Do they need to seek help, or is it the people that are around them? Because a lot of people, let's face it, don't have a support staff.
Yeah, they don't. But what I've learned is if I could have did it on my own, I would have not have went to treatment. You know what I mean? You name it, I tried it to beat my addiction. I moved to Paris, I moved to London, I moved to Helsinki, Finland. I changed women, I changed careers, I changed homes. Nothing worked. I was trying to find that external solution for that internal problem. what I realized is it had to come from within. So I had to want it. But I knew that I couldn't do it on my own. But all of a sudden I see you clean. So I can't, you can you help me? And that's why I'm here. Anyone struggling, reach out to me personally. You can call me on my cell phone, 610-546-2608.
You see the number right there. It's at the bottom of the screen. But, you know, is that something that, do you feel blessed? Do you feel, how lucky do you feel now, Brandon, that you're sitting here?
Statistics state, theoretical evidence dictates that I am to be high or dead right now. The fact that I'm not is A, miraculous, equaling miracle, B, it defies logic. You know, what I've been able to do is turn my defects of character into my biggest assets. Because when I got into treatment, I learned that my mentality will create the reality for which I live in. And in treatment, they taught me if you change your perception, you can change your world.
Gratifying for you?
More than I can speak of. Words don't do it justice.
Give me that number one more time.
Sobriety has given me everything that drugs and alcohol promised me. If you're struggling, you can't see past the bag, bottle, or pill, call me. 610-546-2608. That's my personal number. We'll do what we can do to find you the help that you need.
Brandon, I love you, man. Thanks for telling the story,
man. Thanks for being the solution, brother.
Man. Listen, Brandon Novak's memoir is called Dream Seller. Right there, you can get in touch with him. Brandon, you saw that number right there. We're going to post a link with that number and more information on our show website at WTVR.com. It's Dream Seller. Brandon, congratulations,
God bless you, man.
God bless you.
Cheers.